So hello everyone. Welcome if you're new and welcome back to the channel. We are here for a person 1, person 2 reading. Okay, it is early in the morning. Still drinking my coffee. But spirit made me do it. So I'm gonna start with my astro dice just to get a feel for what energy may be significant in the cosmos right now pertaining to you and this person, or one of your charts in particular, or if you have certain placements that resonate to these dice. So let's say, well, we've got Aquarius, we've got Pluto, and we've got 9. So maybe doing some 9th house stuff. You may have Pluto in the 9th house. Pluto is definitely moving into Aquarius. There is no one alive today that has a Pluto in an Aquarius placement, but this may be very significant for you with Pluto moving into Aquarius this year, right? Pluto will be in Aquarius as of 2024 for over a decade, well over a decade. So this may be very significant for you to understand in divine time whenever this message crosses your path. It is meant to give you whatever message it's meant to give you when you find it. So if Pluto is in Aquarius at the time you end up catching this somewhere in the future from this present moment, there is likely a significant message in there for you. 9th house is traditionally ruled by Sagittarius. So it may be significant if you have strong Sagittarian placements in your chart. Pluto is also natural to the 8th house. It's Scorpio's ruling planet, so you may have significant Scorpionic placements or 8th house placements as well. All right, Aquarian energy. Your Aquarian energy could be playing on your Plutonian energy, vice versa. Right now, Saturn's in Aquarius. Venus at this present moment is in Aquarius. And that could be significant as to why you're receiving the message whenever it is that you do. Okay, especially with Pluto moving through there. If you do have Pluto in Scorpio and you're that generation, Pluto moving into Aquarius is going to be squaring your natal Pluto at some point. So know that there's going to be certain challenges pushing you to transform in whatever house that involves. Okay, I'll put these up here. Aquarius, Pluto, 9th house. I'm going to start with my Harrow cards. So Harrow is a divination. It's a form of divination that is actually, it comes out of the Pathfinder world of D&D, Dungeons and Dragons. And it has held accurate in real life, okay, outside of the game. So we're going to be using this today to give you an idea of the energy involving person number 1, person number 2. You may resonate as person number 1. You may resonate as person number 2. You may see a little bit of both in yourself, and you can absolutely see it as the dynamic you're witnessing between 2 other people in your reality. So take it as it resonates for you. There is a lesson to be learned in the understanding of it, whatever it is. So, Spirit, please. What is the energy of person number 1? Give us some insight, please, into the energy of person number 1. The Fiend. The Fiend. Let me give you a close-up of this card. This is an interesting card. All right. That is person number 1. Spirit, what is the energy of person number 2? Give me some insight into the energy of person number 2. The Desert. Interesting. The lion energy on that card is very Leo-esque. It's Aquarius's polar opposite sign. Let me give you some insight into these two. All right. Because the fiend is a strength vibration, and the desert is a constitution vibration. So strength vibes are all about war, battle, and honor. Constitution is all about health, home, and pain. So the fiend, the alignment is lawful evil, which means this person's role, okay, in your life or the world that you're witnessing with them, lawful evil is someone who is contracted in your experience to be the villain, okay? The fiend depicts a devil swallowing innocence. It can indicate the deaths of many and a great calamity, or, if misaligned, the salvation from some calamity. The fiend can also indicate that some sort of dark and intelligent being is in the area, endangering the populace. So for this to resonate in our world, right? Not Dungeons and Dragons, but real life. This is someone who seeks out people who, when they are in misalignment, it's almost like shadow finds shadow. So like they might be a very innocent person just going through their healing, and they're ignorant. They don't really know any better that they're misaligned, but the devil energy recognizes that they are misaligned and completely wreaks havoc in their life. It takes advantage of them, right? It eats them alive. So it understands, this devil understands the weaknesses of another person and exploits the fact that they know that individual is weak in some which way, shape, or form, in their belief system, in their character, you know, the way they respond to trauma. You know, they could be very empathic and always want to help people and see the good in people, and it's like seeing the good in the devil, and the devil's like, yeah, but I'm never gonna fucking reach it, you know what I mean? And I'm just gonna take advantage of you like fucking crazy while you're trying to bring the best out of me. You know what I mean? This is someone who is extremely intelligent and dark. We're talking about possibly a narcissist, or what could be considered a dark empath, because there are people who are truly emotionally intelligent. They are empathic. They can sense and pick up what other people are feeling and exploit it. Okay, dark empaths are narcissists, but it's like a different breed, okay? If you have a dark empath, it's like a narcissist on steroids. So this is someone who is extremely intelligent, mentally and or emotionally, mentally and emotionally intelligent, who takes advantage of people who are in their healing process. Okay, they are catalysts that essentially propel us forward, but they are contracted in this life to be the villain. Okay, now the desert. Of course, it is the complete opposite. It is chaotic good. Chaotic good energy is an energy that is good for the sake of being good in the way that they view what good is. So they don't follow any rules. It's completely up to the individual if they deem what they're doing as good or not. So this is someone who acts in alignment with good, but it's their own moral compass. It's not like good, like society will tell you, well, this is good, do that because everybody else says it's good. This person's like, Yeah, if I say it's good though, then it's good. It doesn't matter if everybody else says it's bad. It's almost like a Robin Hood energy, right? Like everybody would say, no, it's not good to steal. So it's good to not steal, right? It's good when you don't steal. But Robin Hood's like, yeah, but they're fucking rich. They're taxing everybody to death. I'm going to steal from the rich and give it back to the poor. In Robin Hood's mind, the act was good, even though stealing is widely accepted as bad. So chaotic good is someone who acts in alignment with their own compass because they believe that their action is good and they are not beholden to any specific contract. So they are the greatest adversary, the greatest rival, nemesis even for the fiend. Okay. The desert is an environment so bleak that none can survive it without aid. For those who find that aid, the journey across the wastes can lead to great things. The Sphinx on this card can refer to a mystic or doctor bringing salvation in times of plague or illness. So if the devil, right, the fiend that represents the devil, is bound to be evil, the chaotic order of things can potentially shake the world of the devil, the world of the fiend, and or undo or repair the damage done by it. Okay. So if the desert archetype is dealing directly with the fiend, one of them is going to end up winning out, meaning the desert will either break the alignment of lawful evil with the fiend, or the lawful evil character, right, the fiend, will break the chaotic good alignment of the desert. If they are not directly facing each other, the desert would essentially be the healer of whoever dealt with the fiend. Okay. And anybody who is dealing with the fiend who has previously crossed the desert may already understand the antidote or the wisdom to apply when dealing with such a person, that they would not be taken advantage of or locked into an obligation that is against their better spiritual nature. Okay. Let's get some more insight into the energy of these people. Spirit, please give me some more insight into the character of person number one, the fiend. Give me some more insight into their energy. The Five of Earth. Okay, so there's major abandonment wounds. Okay. The Wheel of Fortune. Give me one more. Let's get a really good idea of who this person is. They may have a seriously challenged Jupiter placement. Or they may have an obsession with money. Then we have the Justice card and the Eight of Air. So this person may have stronger, significant Libra placements. The Eight of Air is mental prisons, okay? Where their perspective is locked. Okay, so this individual Person number 1 definitely has abandonment wounds with the 5 of Earth. They feel like they were left to grow or figure it out alone. I think that they feel what they do to other people is just. I feel like they feel what they do to other people is just, because if other people were smarter, they wouldn't be taken advantage of. So if the other person is dumb enough to allow it, well, they got involved with the fucking devil. You know what I mean? Shame on them if they didn't know what they were getting involved with, if they didn't listen to their red flags. Like, this person, I think, is very well aware of the fact that they use people for their own gain. They're really aware of the fact that they use people for their own gain. Let's get some insight into the character of the desert. Person number 2. Insight into person number 2. The Page of Water, the Ace of Earth, and the Messenger of Air. All right, so whether these two realize it or not, they are each other's angel. Like, even the devil was an angel before he was a devil. And I think the interaction with these two, it's like, because if you look at this 8 of Air card, there's the angel, right? And all of the feathers are falling. And then the Page of Air, you can see the feathers falling from the sky down to another angel. I think one is working as an angel present on the earth, and one, the darkness serves the light, is working as an angel from a higher perspective. Because like I said, this fiend energy, whoever person number 1 is a catalyst for people who are ignorant to how to love themselves. Because the biggest problem with empaths, honestly, is that they don't know how to stop giving to other people and love themselves first. It's a big lesson for them. And they need, right? They almost need to run into this devil type energy in order to put themselves first before their demons, right? Before their devil. Person number 2 with the Page of Water is extremely compassionate. They are the solid foundation, the solid beginning with the Ace of Earth. They know how to manifest everything else because they have the foundation solid, right? They could build whatever they want to build with whoever they are building with. They can build anything because the foundation is solid. And the Messenger of Air, this is someone who communicates from I want to say a really realistic, like point blank reality type communication. But this energy is very mystical because you could see the headdress of feathers. I feel like this person has angels in their head, so to speak. I feel like if we do have this dark empath, you know, super narcissist as person one, I think what they may not have anticipated is the fact that they may have run into what is essentially a Sigma empath, which is an empath, right, that person number one would typically prey upon, right? They would prey upon the empath. But a Sigma empath is different because they recognize the game that the narcissist or the dark empath is playing. And they don't actually allow person number one to win, so to speak, to actually truly get the better of them, to where what worked with everybody else, right? What worked with everybody else, because we have this super narcissist, right? Who's empathic and can read people's feelings and emotions and use it against them. Uses people's feelings against them. I don't think that they realized who they were dealing with. The Sigma empath is the one that is rooting for the narcissist to heal, right? This healing energy that comes along with this chaotic good character. It's the healing energy, right? The doctor energy, the spiritual doctor energy, that holds compassion for the devil, sees the good in the devil, sees the wounds, because this person feels as if they are abandoned, lost. They have the right to take advantage of people because other people let themselves be taken advantage of, but they weren't ever actually taking advantage of person number two. They may have thought they were, but person number two was probably genuinely giving compassion, genuinely holding the solid foundation to help person number one build whatever they wanted to build. They were holding high energy. And when the dark energy here became very stubborn in being dislodged, that this individual wouldn't let go of their demons, so to speak, let go of their shadows, that this person wouldn't detach from their own dark energy, because I feel like person number two was everything they thought didn't exist, right? Person number one. Person number two was everything that person number one thought didn't exist. Person number two genuinely gave compassion, or genuinely gives compassion to person number one, to the point that the whole story of being the quote-unquote villain, right, and being this mastermind of dark energy in the world and being able to take advantage of other people and take whatever they want from people, that whole story starts to break down. Because not only did they not leave person two in ruin, the Ace of Pentacles, like, this person is not in ruin. The Page of Water, this person is still childlike and innocent at heart. This person's not broken. There's no, like, Five of Cups here. You know what I mean? There's no Nine of Swords here. This person is still a messenger with angels in their head. You know, like, person number two, this chaotic good energy, cross the path of person number one because person number one needed to remember there's more than just evil. There's more than just succumbing to the shadow. There is light. There is genuine love. There is people who genuinely see them beyond their wounds. This person may have been severely misaligned for a very long time, thinking that everybody in the world is the same. They're either a taker or a dumbass. You know what I mean? If you're not a taker, you're being taken from, type thing. And that was not the case. There's not two types of people in the world, the takers and the people that get taken from. There's the givers. There's also the givers that genuinely give for the sake of giving because they give. You don't actually take anything from the giver. You can't take anything from the giver. The giver is giving it freely. There's nothing to take. And therefore they're not being taken from. They're giving. They're like, here. Here's love. Here's compassion. Here's mercy. Here's empowerment. Here's stability. You can't take from me. I'm giving it. And I'm not taking anything from you. I'm not a taker. I don't want anything from you. I'm just giving. And so it breaks the story that person number one's been telling. There's takers and the people that get taken from. And if you don't want to get taken from, then you better be a taker. Person number two is like, I'm a giver. It's nice to meet you. Person number one is like, what? I'm going to take from you. No, it's okay. Here, take it. Just have it. I'm giving it to you. Oh, I'm going to take this from you. No, it's okay. Here, just go ahead. It's yours. And then one day the giver says, okay, I've given to you enough. I'm going to go now. And the taker is like, what? What do you mean I can't take from you anymore? Be like, you never took from me at all. Person number two is like, you never took from me at all. I was giving to you this whole time. I was just giving to you this whole time. You were receiving. You weren't taking. You were receiving. There's a difference. And I'm not giving to you anymore. Okay? It's okay. No hard feelings. I'm good. But I'm not giving to you anymore. You were never taking from me. You were learning how to receive. Person number two breaks the whole belief system of person number one. So, what is going on, Spirit, right now with person number one? You see, the thing about giving versus taking and receiving versus taking is that when energies take, spiritually, soulfully, there's weight there, there's guilt there. Even if the mind is too dark to acknowledge it, the soul still feels the debt. I took from a good person. The mind can reason it all at once, well, they were fucking stupid and let me take from them. But the soul still aches because it's in misalignment, right? There's a certain amount of guilt or debt tied to taking. But when someone is giving and someone is learning to receive, there is no guilt. There is no debt owed. Person number two didn't actually want anything back from person number one. They didn't actually want anything back. There is no debt. Person number two is like, you don't owe me anything. Well, what do you mean? I took from you for 2 years. No, I gave to you for 2 years. You don't owe me anything. It is what it is. But I took from you for 20 years. No, you didn't. I gave to you for 20 years and now I've moved on. You don't owe me anything, right? The soul is not heavy for receiving, right? The train is going off in the background as divine confirmation. Person number 2 never wanted anything from person number 1. So where person number 1 is now, right? Because person number 2 did not allow them to accumulate what is essentially spiritual debt or energetic debt while they were with them. I'm kind of feeling like person number 1, honest to God, misses person number 2 because they weren't accumulating debt, and that felt good. Like it actually felt good to receive and not take. Like someone wanted to give to them whatever they needed and they didn't have to take it, you know. I'm feeling like person number 1 might be missing person number 2, but we'll see. What's going on, Spirit, please? Insight into the world of person number 1. Yeah, major transformation. You got the Death card. We got the Death card. Three of coin. The 5 of coin again. It's interesting, the energy on that card. Because the 5 of coins typically denotes, like in traditional Rider-Waite, the person sitting abandoned outside the building, all wrapped in bandages, and or the 2 people kind of, you know, crippling away outside in the snow. But this one, they're actually fighting. There's 2 individuals that look like they're brawling at the bottom. And the King of Pentacles. All right, give me some clarities, please. Yeah, the Knight of Wands on the Death card. With the Page of Swords in the reverse. The 4 of Cups on the 5 of coin. And the 3 of Swords with the King of Cups on the King of Pentacles. Knight of Pentacles on the bottom with the Lovers on top. Okay. Okay. Person number 1 is going through a major transformation with a partner. Okay. It could be Gemini in energy. But I feel like this person is with the next person, right, after dealing with person number 2. And I feel like it's a very slow journey, really. We got the Knight of Pentacles with the 3 of Wands and then the 3 of Cups under this. It's definitely a third-party situation, okay? where they're seeing, yeah, they're seeing two sides of the two sides of a coin with a soulmate. There's definitely conflict here. I think the universe, right, the death card we were talking about, scorpionic energy and Pluto, they're going through a major transformation of perspective, especially that Pluto and Aquarius energy. Major transformation of perspective while dealing with this third party who's outside of this reading, right? Between person number 1 and person number 2. This is a third energy outside of the reading. So we've got 2 3s here, and then we had the other 2 3s right there on the bottom of the deck. The Knight, and then 3 and 3. So we literally got like all 4 3s around. This is definitely a third party. That they might be having a very hard time cutting off, and yet everything in their transformation is pushing them to take divinely guided action. I think that person number 1 can't stand. I think they can't stand whoever the third party is. I think their abandonment wound, the fear of losing this third party, the control, right? Because person number 1, in essence, thought they were controlling person number 2, only to realize they had no control over person number 2 to begin with. Person number 2 was in control the whole time. Person number 2 never actually gave person 1 control. It may have seemed that way to person number 1 at the time, but person number 2 never actually gave control to person number 1. Now, person number 1 dealing with person number 2, their abandonment wound is causing them to feel like they're missing an opportunity with the Ace of Cups, which is essentially, I wouldn't be surprised if it's like person number 2 energy. They're missing this receiving energy because the 4 of Cups shows the hand of God typically giving forth the 4th cup, which is the opportunity to overflow the Ace of Cups instead of focusing on the 3 of Cups in front of them. There's another option to receive great love, right? I feel like person number 1 is in this conflict with their abandonment wound. They may feel like person number 2 abandoned them when they stopped giving. But person number 1 has to remember, like, person number 2 was not unaware that person number 1 was like, I'm taking from you, I'm taking from you, I'm taking from you, not realizing that person number 2 was just giving. There wasn't actually any taking going on, right? So I feel like there's this fear with person number 1 of surrendering and releasing control because they're in control, or they think they're in control of this third party. They can't stop thinking about the overflow, the love, the receiving, and how good it actually felt to receive instead of take. But I think they're afraid that person number 2 wouldn't give to them again. That maybe person number 2 gave all they were willing to give and won't do it again. The King of Pentacles and the King of Cups with the 3 of Swords. I feel like this person's reality, the reality that they chose, right? King of Pentacles energy, the manifestation, the ultimate manifestation that person number 1 chose is heartbreaking because their heart, the secrets of their heart, right? The King of Cups actually does want to be with person number 2. I think that person number 1 is seriously conflicted. They might even be fighting with their third party because their third party is weak, right? It's the typical person that they've gone after before. It's weak. It's the same old, same old. I take from you because you're fucking stupid and blah, blah, blah. It's the same old games. And I think after dealing with person number 2 and realizing there is so much more than just being the taker or the taken from, I think there's a spiritual, like, soul fascination with the fact that person number 2 taught them something different. And I think the ultimate manifestation of where this person number 1 ended up, I think it's killing them inside. I think it's killing them inside. Let me use my Mirror of the Soul Tarot for person number 2. Yeah, I think person number 1, whoever their third party is that they're dealing with, it's like, it's so beneath them. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's so beneath them now. They thought they were so above everybody else for the longest time. And now it just feels so much like a waste of time. The third party energy, it feels like they are just wasting their time. Like there's nothing they actually want to take from the third party that they're dealing with. Because they don't actually want to take anything, they want to receive. And the third party might not be giving like person number 2 was. The thing is, if you are resonating as person number 1, the only way to keep and maintain person number 2 is to actually match their energy, which is being the giver. You would have to be the giver to keep the giver. The giver will continue to give to whoever they're guided to give to, right? In divine time. They will show up and give to whoever they're meant to give to in divine time. And then move on, right? And then move on when it's time to move on. But in order to keep the giver who gives, right? Who gives unconditionally and endlessly. They can give forever. It never phases them. They never run dry. They never run out of compassion and mercy and the angel in their head. They never run out. They never have a faulty foundation, right, being laid. They're always in that high energy, that high light. In order to maintain a relationship with a giver long term, like attracts like. So you'd have to become the giver to keep the giver. So Spirit, where is the giver right now? What is going on in their world? Insight, please, into the world of the giver. What is going on inside the world of person number 2, right? The desert. What is going on? We also have the Knight of Wands. The Eight of Swords. The Knight of Cups. The Five of Wands. All right, clarities, please. Thank you, Spirit. Queen of Swords is on the bottom. The Magician is on top. Okay. Person number 2. With the Queen of Swords on bottom, this Queen of Swords and the Three of Swords is under that. The Ace of Wands is under that, and the Devil. Okay, so this person underneath the energy, they know that they've cut the head off the ghost of their past, so to speak, with person number 1. They know that, right, we're talking like Sigma empath. They know that the third party situation that person number 1 is in is very restrictive, and they're feeling that inspiration with the Knight of Wands here. Okay. They know that they've essentially set off a snowball rolling down the hill. You know what I mean? They know what they've done. They have potentially fundamentally changed person number 1. How I was talking about the battle at the beginning, right, where person number 1 and person number 2, like one of them is going to win out. Chaotic good has more room to move than lawful either, because lawful evil has certain confines. They are bound to certain energies, but chaotic energy has a way of doing exactly that, being chaotic and causing chaos in what is essentially an order or way of being. The Knight of Wands with the Judgment card. Again, like Knight of Wands with the Death card is Scorpionic. The Knight of Wands with the Judgment card is also Scorpionic. Person number 1 may be in a competition scenario. Third party energy, they may be in a competition type scenario. I feel like person number 2 is feeling the energy of this past. I think they can sense the transformation going on and the drive for the resurrection to happen. Because person number 1 is truly focusing on the idea or memory of person number 2, and person number 2 can feel that. However, I feel like they also can sense and feel the interference, right? The Eight of Swords is that Jupiter and Gemini energy, and we have the Jupiter and Gemini energy here. They could feel the Eight of Air, right, in this person. The Eight of Swords is the Eight of Air. And they know this person is on an inward journey. And so they may themselves be focusing on their own journey. Being the desert, right, the desert has no water, and water is indicative of love. So person number 2 may not be giving to anybody but themselves right now, okay? There might not actually be anybody that person number 2 is giving to, especially because There's no third party energy on this side, and there's no high court cards on this side, like kings or queens, empress, emperor, things like that. We have communication energy with the knights and the Princess of Cups. But there's no actual third party energy over here. Okay. The Knight of Cups with the Universe or the World card in the reverse. I feel like this person is on a rise just because the angelic wings that this rider has, right, this knight has, looks like a staircase. They might be, and they're holding this cup with the crab in it, which is Cancerian energy. There's a peacock here. So I think they take a lot of pride in the love that they give. They know what they're giving is capable of. And I think they know it's not over with the World card here in reverse. I think they know they're going to be called to give again. They just don't know when. With the Five of Wands and the Princess of Cups in the reverse, they are not willing to show mercy. They are no longer willing at this point to show compassion. Possibly in particular to person number 1. If not in general, they're not being guided to show their giving quality or their compassion, their mercy right now. And unapologetically so, because the Princess of Cups can sometimes represent an apology. Person number 2 is not sorry for however this went down with person number 1. And they're possibly still dealing with a little bit of internal conflict about whether or not they would continue to give to person number 1, because person number 1 is still inside the transformation process. They haven't actually transformed yet. They're still dealing with third parties. They're still dealing with this heartbreak energy. They're still dealing with that 8 of air, right? The 8 of Swords energy. I feel like person number 2, it's almost like has unwillingly gone into hermit mode. Because I think the giver, the desert energy, person number 2, really felt guided in the foundation that they started with person number 1. But it's almost like the seed that they planted is still in the ground. It hasn't broken the surface yet. And they know it. Like they know that person number 1 is not on their level as a giver. That they haven't necessarily changed alignment yet. Right? They're aligned lawful evil. They haven't changed their alignment yet. This is where they are in the present, right? When you're catching this in divine time, this is where the energies are in the present. It's a slow process for person number 1. I'm going to pull my fairy oracle. Spirit, give me a card. As to the evolution of person number 1 from the present moment. Where do they evolve from here? Do they evolve from here, right? Where do they seem to be going in the future? Insight, please, into the development over time with person number 1. We'll say within a year's time of the divine time you're catching this. Where will they be a year from now? In a year or within the year? I'm going to pull another Harrow card too. The Lady of the Harvest. All right, give us some insight into person number 2. Where does their alignment move in or within the year from this divinely timed moment that you're watching this? How does the energy evolve, if it does evolve? Where is the energy of person number 2? To be fair, Lady of the Harvest is very Cancerian energy. Ilby, the Retriever. All right. Additional insight into the alignment, development of person number 1. The Betrayal. Ooh, there's that fucking queen with the head, right? Look at that. That's this energy. She's holding the head in her hand. Really, like they could be harvesting, like reaping betrayal. Hot damn. Insight into the alignment of person number 2, how they develop. The Wanderer. The Wanderer. All right. Lady of the Harvest. Person number 1. Person number 1 accepts the time to change and moves on to the next phase. Power and strength in the present and future come from releasing the past. This is a time of liberation, and they might as well cooperate with it. It will happen whether they want it to or not. Release and liberation may be painful or joyful depending on the circumstances. Cry if you need to. Be joyful if that is appropriate. But in either case, trust the process and acknowledge what you feel and prepare to move on. So in the future, person number 1 is definitely what might be essentially freeing themselves of their own shadow. Okay, they might be going through that change, right? That shift into the next phase, the liberation energy, because that word was repeated multiple times. And it may be painful. It says it may be painful, and we have this betrayal energy, right? The betrayal is a charisma energy. Charisma is all about love, family, and essentially politics. The betrayal is neutral evil. It is no longer lawful, right? They went from lawful, which means being bound to evil, to being neutral evil. The betrayal is selfishness incarnate. Envy twists the spirit and leads ultimately to devastation. It may also indicate a person whose loveliness hides an evil heart. Someone who turns to the material world and its temptations. So this person essentially goes from being what is an overt taker to being seriously envious, potentially of people who are in dynamics with people like person number 2, givers, right? This person comes off really lovely on the outside, maybe even particularly to other people, like outside of their third party dynamics. But this card their envy ultimately leads to devastation. So anytime that they involve themselves with a third party that is less than, right, quote unquote, less than, I think what happened is when they made the switch from lawful evil, that taking type thing, to being neutral evil, which is just being fucking evil for the sake of being evil, like being fucking mean, I think that what they did was ultimately start pushing their third parties into relationship dynamics with givers, which is essentially the healing that took place, what the desert person did. They might be attaching to people who set off their own Lilith energy in their charts, or someone who has significantly placed Lilith energies for them. Really, Lilith is abandonment. This person doesn't feel the order as to why they're evil anymore. They just are evil for the sake of being evil. They don't feel bound to it. Like they had to be evil, right? Be the taker or be taken from. Now they're just fucking misaligned because of what is essentially self-hatred. Okay? They're selfish and they want what they can't have. The betrayal is to the self, that they are not aligning with the energy of the desert, right? Person number 2. They're pushing the energy of their third parties towards people like person number 2. Like, think about that. They're pushing their third parties to people towards dynamics they can't have. Yeah, the envy is real. This person's moving into the next stage, right? The next stage is coming down from lawful to neutral. But they're still evil aligned, okay? So keep that in mind if your fingers crossing for the salvation of person number 2. They're in the process of being liberated, but it is a very slow process, right? It is a slow process. They will probably be betrayed multiple times by other third-party energies. Constantly in competition with other rivaling energies. Like, they won't receive a giver, but the people that they attach themselves to, that they're being evil towards, will find other people that are more giving and leave them, right? So this abandonment wound's kind of going to continue to bleed out until they become the giver. Like, they're going to experience other people moving towards giver energy until they become it. It'll be the retriever. Card number 41, person number 2. It'll be the retriever. It represents the office of unclaimed property, hopes and wishes, and loyalty. Ilby is a protector. He retrieves and safeguards lost hopes, forgotten dreams, and mislaid keys. He holds the seeds of potential futures carefully and delicately until people are ready to return for them. Ilby is reminding you of something you've lost, a hope or a dream perhaps. You may have thought it gone forever, but he is holding it out to you for reconsideration. He thinks you can do something with it now. The way may not be obvious, but this clever nose has scented a path, a potential opening for bringing this into your life. Sometimes Ilby may be saying that a long-awaited dream is at last arriving on the scene, and there is nothing we need to do but open our hearts and minds to it. However, there is usually a little work involved. The most beautiful attribute of Ilby is loyalty. So this person number 2, moves into what is essentially the retrieving of a lost dream or lost hope. So person number 2, especially if they are seriously internally conflicted after giving to person number 1 like they did, that they don't feel guided, right, to give to anybody else, that they are the desert, that they have dried up, right? Essentially, how that energy morphs is the receiving. Is the receiving of what is loyalty, right? That loyalty in the light of things. The Wanderer. It's an intelligence card. Intelligence is all about money, education, and literature. The Wanderer is now neutral good. Okay, the alignment is neutral good. So they shift from chaotic to neutral. The Wanderer is a collector. The Centaur appreciates that which others regard as junk or trash. The Wanderer appears to those clever enough to find the true worth in something others ignore or treat as worthless. They have the ability to see what is truly valuable in a person or situation. So where this person decided that they were unwilling, right, or no longer guided to give, they find what is essentially another one of themselves. Because they are wandering, right? The Hermit card, the Knight's here. The giving has not ended, right? The Knight of Cups with the World in the reverse. The giving has not ended. Person number one may have treated person number two like they were worthless, that they're giving, what they were giving was worthless when it was highly valuable. That's why they're on the fucking tear of karmic healing that they're on. But going from chaotic to neutral in alignment with good, right? They're still good aligned. This person is no longer doing good from their own moral compass and are not doing good by the code of the community, so to speak. But they are doing genuine good. They are aligned with genuine good in service to spirit. What spirit deems as good, right? The happiness and the purpose of the whole. They serve happiness and joy, okay? They serve freedom. They serve as a protector, right? It'll be the retriever. They serve as a protector. Person number two, in a year or within a year, is going to find another giver who probably also decided that they no longer felt guided to give. Right, one person's trash is another person's treasure. And there's going to be a deep loyalty there. Because there's going to be an understanding that one would never hurt the other. There's no longer this need to fix or battle against that which is evil directly. But they are going to be radiating such a good aligned energy that that which is evil is going to have a hard time connecting with them. Let me get a guidance card. These are the Black Moon Astrology cards. Okay. What is the ultimate guidance for person number one and or person number two? What is the ultimate guidance for the viewer, right? Whichever person you resonate with. What is the ultimate guidance for the viewer in divine time, please, Spirit? North Node. North Node. Card number 41, which just so happens to be the same number as Ildi. It's card 41. All right. North Node. Quote, "The purpose of our lives is to be happy." Tenzin Gyatso, the 14th Dalai Lama of Tibet. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. It says the North Node points out the best areas for us to direct our talents and our wills. The North Node shows the area of gifts. It represents destiny. It is directly opposed to the South Node, which is much more serious and restrictive. The North Node represents where we benefit from good work done in past lives and how that assists us in the here and now. The North Node is the place in the chart where life becomes easier. It acts like a karmic Jupiter where a doorway opens and suddenly you are where you need to be. When the North Node card presents itself, you can be assured destiny has a place in your situation. Through many life lessons, you are about to arrive at a place for your highest good. Your life is expanding and opportunities pour in swiftly, catching you quite by surprise. This card also represents past memories and karmic connections. You may meet people whom you have known over many past lives, perhaps in a soul family where bonds form very quickly. You are taking on a larger view of your life, which not only emphasizes your talents, but aligns your talents with like-minded souls. It's a fortuitous time to begin a privately owned business or other professional venture that will bring in extra finances. Whatever this venture may be, fun, creativity, and optimism will be a part of it. At this time, you will feel less limited and your goals and plans will have far-reaching potential. Keep in mind the lunar nodes always bring shifts and changes. For instance, a relationship with someone who has quote-unquote destiny spelled all over him or her may suddenly walk into your life. If so, this relationship will start rapidly and be life-altering. One job may end swiftly and you will find yourself in a much more suitable position. If the energy is used correctly, it will promote greater optimism and prosperity. This means finances are also likely to increase. The energy is now telling you that the schooling part is over for now. Lessons have been learned, and you are now to act on these lessons towards a greater destiny. At this time, it is evident where you need to go and where you need to be. As the soul's messenger, the appearance of North Node in a spread indicates growing into what is called the larger unknown, meaning you are moving toward a point that promises greater fulfillment. The nodes are karmic, therefore the lessons are not easy ones. Matters will develop suddenly, but there is still work to be done. Luck is on your side with an opening toward greater things. Karmic lessons learned and processed bring fulfillment and happiness. North Node, key words: life purpose, the soul's enlargement, balance, karmic rewards and karmic bonds, memories of previous lives, reinforcement, support, movement forward, being right, the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, undiscovered talents, fulfillment, the things we can fall back on, being in the flow, trusting destiny, meaningful exchanges, inner balance, the foundation for future success, achievement, giving credit, considering the other side, working with others, emotional security, the path of least resistance, adaptability, inner strength, playing games with the universe, wisdom, trust, working well with youthful energy, understanding children, optimism, strokes of good luck, generosity, charity, wealth, the color deep red, kind authority, and the exploration of ideas, expansion, and growth. The corresponding tarot card is the Ten of Cups. It is positive karma and rewards, the enlarging of the soul, and being in the right place at the right time, serendipity. North Node. I cannot help but feel that if you resonated with person number 2, because these are both card 41, that this guidance was specifically for you. Because person number 1, yeah, if you're person number 2, I can't help but feel it's for you. If I said it was for person number 1, it's person number 2. Person number 1, I feel that should you shift from the alignment of neutral evil to neutral good, I don't doubt that you would also unlock this energy. That you would also align yourself with these kinds of blessings. Because not all karma is bad. Good karma is dharma. I mean, it's a thing. I feel like person number 1 is on their way here. I do, again, feel like it's a slow process. But everybody always ultimately reaches their North Node in this life or the next. I think we just have to remember who we are before the shadows of others left their mark on us. What the soul looked like in its beautiful shining light before the hand of dark energy placed its print on it. That we would be able to shine so bright that that shadowy print disappears. If you're person number 1, don't harbor hate and envy. Don't harbor bitterness. Don't feel like you've lost something that you can never get back. Don't buy into abandonment. You were given a gift and were shown the way via person number 2 on how to receive the blessings of life's purpose, right? North Node is life's purpose. How to receive that blessing. You were shown the way. It's not about being a taker or being taken from. To align with North Node, just give. Give without expectation and love that you can give. What someone needs, just love that you can give it. And when you no longer feel guided to give, that's fine. You just go on. You didn't lose anything. You gave it freely. You know, they say don't give what you expect back. You know, if you loan a friend 20 bucks, don't give it because you expect it back. Give it because you have it and you can give it. And if they give it back to you, great. And if they don't, you didn't lose anything. It was fine. You wouldn't have given it if you didn't have it to give. Well, that's the giver's mindset. I never wanted it back. If you gave it back, great. I'll give to you in the future. You give back to me what I give to you. That's great. But I don't expect anything back. I just give what I can because I can. And it made your life easier. It made your life better. And so I gave. I never wanted it back. The giver will always continue to give to someone who reciprocates and gives back. Always. Why would they not give to someone who is like appreciative and grateful for the giving so much that they give back to the giver who expected nothing in return? To give to the giver will endlessly give to you. It creates an endlessly beautiful dynamic of giving and receiving. There is no taking from you and you taking from me, and it's just giving and receiving. And there's a big difference. Codependent dynamics take from each other. You give me this and I'll give you that. I'll take this from you and you can take this from me. Taking. It's unwilling, and there's a debt. Because I'm only letting you take it because I'm taking this from you in return. I'm only letting you take this from me because I'm taking that from you in return. Whether you realize it or not. You're using each other. You're using each other. And when one person can no longer use the other, and there's nothing to take from anymore, they leave. That's the betrayal. But giving and receiving, no one's ever hurt if someone can't come through. It's okay. I know you got me. You always give back whenever you can, whatever you can. There's no expectations. And that is the message. Prayers of love and support sent to person number 1 and all of the people they are connected to in this life. And love and support sent to person number 2 for all that you've been doing. You deserve a little bit of blessings in return. Take care, everybody.